Put a finger down if you said you would never date a pastor, but you married him instead. Can I? Hello, babe. Welcome to Becoming with your host, Morgan Tyler. I truly did not know that you were the one until I almost blocked you.
Do you think all men try to create a vision for their own marriage?
I have my wonderful husband here, which I am so excited to have. Say hi to the people.
I love you.
Yeah, you can touch my hand.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
I'm so proud of you. This is amazing. Thank you for having me.
Wow, thanks, babe. I'm excited to have you because I know that the people are wanting to hear what you have to say. We get questions all the time. Okay. How did you guys meet? Was it easy? I think a lot of people, what I have noticed is a lot of people look at us and they're like, how did you just know he was the one?
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, I didn't. Until God told me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think people really...
Say more about that.
Okay, so...
How did you know I was the one?
I truly did not know that you were the one until I almost blocked you. Because you had cheated. And so, yeah, we're really...
Okay,
yes.
This is good. Okay.
Yes, so he cheated. And we were just dating. And I was a single mom who said, I'm not putting up with no mess. And as soon as I found out that you were still dibbling and dabbling, I said, absolutely not. And so I remember...
I was a young man.
You were a young man.
I was...
rolling around the city.
That's... Okay.
Can I say that? Oop.
I was young and still trying to figure out
we were young.
My life.
Absolutely.
You
and the reason why I say this is because we all have a past, right? We all have a past. But I think that a lot of women look at a relationship and they're like, goals. And I'm like, you guys don't know what it took to get here. I think there is this like fairy tale that people think we have. And I do believe that now it is a fairy tale because I love you so much. And like, there's nobody I'd rather be with. And you just make me so happy. And I just like, we don't argue. It is really good. But we did all of that up front. Am I right?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. And so going back to the answer, I remember I was getting ready to take a nap and you were blowing up my phone. And I literally was about to block you. And I turned over and I heard God loud and clear say, call that man back because that's your husband. Now, mind you, we were only dating for probably like a couple months at that point. But yeah, the Lord, he literally told me and I rolled my eyes and called you back. And you told me to meet you at Waffle House so you could apologize.
Waffle House was like a really...
That was our little spot.
That's what I could do, okay?
Yeah.
I was late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
Like maybe 20 years old.
You were still in college?
Yes. I had no money.
Yeah. We were poor.
Very
poor.
So poor.
So poor. So what I do want to ask, though, from the male perspective, I think I would love if you gave your opinion on just like, what are guys thinking when it comes to dating, when it comes to marriage? A lot of people are saying there's pee in the dating pool. Like it's just so hard. All the people left are trash. Da, da, da. Like, what is it? Are men even actually wanting to get married? Are they pursuing people with marriage in mind? Like, I do believe you kind of fell into marriage with me.
I think, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I think from a male perspective, I do think, I'm going to say something really strong.
Okay.
Do you think all men want to be married?
Okay.
I don't think every man knows how to pursue a healthy relationship first.
That's great.
Let alone try to create a vision for their own marriage.
As we were kind of like mapping out the episodes and things like that, something came up and I feel like the people are not going to let you live.
Sure.
I really do. So you said every man wants to be married. You said that.
You're like gonna be so hot when I said that.
And I feel like if you say it in the episode, they're not even gonna listen. They're not even gonna wait for you to finish the sentence. They're just gonna go straight to the comments and be like, "What he's wrong," and tell you all the reasons why you're wrong.
Sure.
Can you just explain what you meant by that, and also, like, what brought you to that thought?
what brought me to that. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll start with the first part. Do I believe that every man wants to get married? I think that's my way of taking a really extreme take on every man does desire companionship, like specifically on a romantic level, like being intimate with someone emotionally and mentally and spiritually and physically.
Physically, hallelujah.
So like an extreme way to, and I also believe that like every man does desire like this sort of sacredness, like something that is beholden, like the
Wow.
one relationship that's like really, really near and dear to their heart, and one that should not be taken lightly, or some relationship that should be taken really, really serious, or with like a very, like I said, like a very sacred approach, like marriage.
And you think everybody wants that?
I think everybody wants that. I think every man, I think every woman wants that. What were you about to say?
I don't know.
I really do believe that, man.
I don't know, because
but I think what happens is a lot of guys don't know like how to name that within themselves, or like that's why you find a lot of guys like running around from person to person trying to find like this feeling, or like this, like trying to find how to fill in like this hole.
Yeah.
I'm not describing it very well. But
no,
like
I think I understand.
Like from person to person, or like the serial dating, or you ever hear about those guys that say, "Oh, I'm just a serial monogamous"? Like,
yes, it's so gross. It's just like
first
gross.
of all, there are women out there like that too. So
yeah,
I
don't like the concept at all. Is what I'm saying.
But it's like every guy is searching for that desire to be met. I think a lot of guys are too ignorant to know what that is.
Maybe it's an immaturity too.
I mean, immaturity is definitely a thing.
Because if you think about yourself,
unhealth is a thing. A lot of these guys are too toxic to know what it is.
Yeah. What is the thing that allowed you to realize, like, wait, I do? Because I don't think if you could think about you.
Sure.
11, 12, 13 years ago. Now, granted, again, you were but a babe. Yeah. But I think there is something to say or name as it pertains to maturity, because just age doesn't always bring maturity either.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I think experience matures someone more than anything else.
So what is it in you that allowed you to be like, wait, I do want companionship. I do want that thing. Because did you always believe that?
Stop it. Did I always believe that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think looking back, hindsight being 2020.
Yeah.
I think I did. However, I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know the proper conversations to have around it, how to like go about it in a healthy way, like going from relationship to relationship. I think innately, like I said, looking back, I think I did desire that on some level. I think I was too immature, too young, too inexperienced to know what that was. Every man wants to get married. I think the hindrance or the hiccup or the challenge is they don't really know what a healthy relationship looks like. Not just a romantic relationship. I'm talking about peer-to-peer relationship. I'm talking about relationship with their parents. Like we all have, I'm talking about men, myself included.
Yeah.
Have to relearn and rethink what it means to have a good, healthy, productive relationship. And then that kind of spills over to your romantic side. I think though, in our heart, like every man wants companionship, wants a romantic partner, needs a helpmate. Like if we want to talk about like what the scripture says, it's not good for man to be alone.
Yeah.
So from a male perspective, I think what I found talking to a lot of younger guys, single guys, what have you, what starts off as I don't really know how to have a good relationship, it starts to come out of their mouth as, oh man, she don't know what she wants. Okay. Or like, oh man, like I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, I just got to get myself together. It starts to manifest in a lot of different words and a lot of different ways, and a lot of different language. But at the root of it, it's like, bro, you don't know what it's like to be in a good relationship. You don't know what it's like to have like good, healthy friends, like good, healthy friends that like affirm you and challenge you and correct you. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what it's like to have that. let alone having it with, the opposite sex, or
Yeah.
having it with a female. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I think. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that that's really, really good because it gives the woman a perspective of, okay, a lot of men, honestly, and this is no shade to the men, but they don't know how to communicate that.
Sure.
And so I think I remember like our communication styles are even pretty different.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first started dating, I was like the really expressive one. You've come a long way with even expressing how you feel. You would just kind of be like, yeah,
I still do that sometimes.
yeah, you do. But I know what those yeah and uh-huhs mean now. And so I think being able to know what those different things mean and how to communicate that and even get that out. I think as women, we do have to decide if you're even worth like getting it out of. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
What?
let me ask you this.
Okay.
From a woman's perspective. Mm-hmm. Like, I know it's always going to be it's always for the rest of our days going to be like, I'm just waiting for a man to get it together. I'm just waiting for a man to, all this, I-N-D, all this.
Yes.
What, from a woman's perspective, though, should they be building on the inside of themselves that makes them attractive to a man?
That's good.
Not every man doesn't have it together.
That's great.
The man that I'm describing is not every man.
Yeah.
Some men are emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Some men do have healthy relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Some men are ready to pursue marriage,
Yes.
to pursue a woman, to court, to date, to marry, to do all the things. What inside of a woman should they be cultivating to make them attractive to a man like that?
You know what? That is an excellent question because I definitely have to speak to my ladies. I do see the goodness gracious, like I see that attitude a lot, but then in the same breath, I'm like, whoa, but you still didn't heal from that last relationship. You still don't really know how to talk. And these are things that I had the problem with. Like, I wasn't fully healed when you and I started dating. I definitely tried to kind of like hold you to certain standards or even things that would trigger me that like you weren't even close to being. I think the healing part of it, and then just not wrapping your identity around a man, because I love you so much, babe. Mm-hmm. I really do.
What you about to say?
I love you so much.
Right.
But if for whatever reason we were not together anymore, yes, I would be hurt. But my identity...
You gonna leave me?
No. Because we don't believe in divorce. Okay. But what I'm saying is, or I won't even put the divorce out there. I will say when we were dating, which is why I was so okay with blocking you and being like, I'm out. I'm okay. Even if I'm not okay in that moment, I will be okay because my identity is not wrapped in you. My whole life is not wrapped in you. Even as a wife, I am very, very purposeful about making sure that, I'm doing my wifely duties, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but baby, I'm still going to be Morgan. I'm still going to make sure that I'm taking care of me. And I think for a woman, sometimes we are so wrapped in getting the ring that we have completely lost ourselves and don't even know, like, when is the last time you looked on the inside and said, okay, what are the things that I kind of need to fix? What are the things that are a little bit broken still? What are the things that I want to do before I even get tied to a man? Because I will say, we got married pretty young, was 23, 24? Yeah, like we got married so young, and there were so many years where we've been together at this point, almost 10 years. Yeah. We've been together for 10 years, and there was so much I had to delay once we got together because we had to figure us out. Yeah. Imagine if you actually already had some of the things that you want to do and some of the career things that you want to make sure you've already like got that notch in your belt. Imagine if you focused on that and then let the man come. Yeah. I think that the focus is wrong a little bit. So I would definitely say the healing for sure. And then just like What do you want? Who are you? What do you want to be? What is God calling you to be, so that you can be the helpmate, so that you can be the complement and not the subtraction? Because I think that's the other thing is like, are you actually going to add to this man's life, or are you just going to be a headache? And I've been a headache. And don't you dare say what you was about to say. Still are.
What?
You was gonna say it?
Sometimes. I think that's the reality. I think that's the reality that every person needs to understand about their significant other, their spouse, what have you. Like, even, you just named it. We've been together 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen maybe 10 different versions of me.
Yeah.
And I've seen 10 different versions of you.
Maybe 11.
Maybe 14. I was trying to be modest. You throw yourself out there.
Oh,
I've seen a lot of different versions of you.
Yeah.
But
I changed.
I think
I evolve.
At the core,
I'm becoming.
Yes, I'm becoming to become. But I think the reality is, like, we were joking about you being a headache. It's not necessarily that you are more of a headache or less of a headache. Is I have to determine, and you have to determine with me, like, hey, I'm going to stick with this person through every version of it. Like, version of Morgan at 23, 22, 21, we were meeting, and version whatever number now in our 30s, 3 kids, 2 states later, it's a completely different version. And I'm relearning that. Yeah. And I'm relearning you. And I'm becoming a better spouse. And even in the becoming a better spouse, it's like, okay, all right, this version of Morgan, I don't know like that. And so she said something and she got me right in between the ribs. And I'm a little irritated. But I have to commit to that, to relearning you every time.
Oh, babe, that's so good.
No. You have to commit to relearning me as well. So
100%.
It's not a one-sided thing.
And that's what I was about to say. Communication styles. Like, I remember when we used to argue a lot, I would want to basically argue until we got it solved. You, on the other hand, were like, I'm going to pack this garbage bag of these clothes.
I'm not arguing on that. I'm not arguing on that.
We would argue so bad, you guys, and he would storm off. And there was a part of me that was like, I think you definitely triggered like that rejection, if you will, inside of me, where I'm like, oh, another one left. Got it. Like, when you would do that, it would sting. But you would do that because you wanted to make sure that you never said anything that you couldn't take back, or, the anger didn't get too crazy, because, you get pretty mad.
Yeah, I know. Because
pretty angry.
Because you always knew, I always tell people, like, people push your buttons all the time. I was like, the only person that knows the right two buttons to touch is Morgan. Like, y'all can push my buttons all day, but Morgan knows how to shift, alt, delete that thing.
Yeah.
But to that point, is like, I never wanted us to get to a point in a disagreement, in an argument, that either one of us said something that's like, you know what, I went too far, or I said something I shouldn't have, or now it's out there and I can't take it back, and I didn't even mean it. And I'd rather leave and then come back before I let that happen.
Now, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I am going to switch this a little bit.
Okay.
There's some man right now plotting on taking one girl on Friday and one girl on Saturday. What's it gonna be?
That's a little bit of y'all being your favorite.
Is it worth it? And what's the reason for it?
There's a difference between casually dating someone, and casually dating multiple people, and exclusively dating someone, one person. The key is,
did you tell them?
Did you tell them?
Yeah.
We get into sticky situations where I'm dating such and such and such and such, and don't nobody know about nobody.
Correct.
That's where we're getting into a problem here.
Yes.
I think the more secretive we are, like, this is between being private and secret. A lot of guys say, like, oh man, my life is private. But no, you keep it a secret.
That's good.
In secrecy, there's a little bit of shame there. So you know what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
I think the key about it, though, is, are you communicating with these individuals? And let's not just play like it's just the men, because the women doing it too.
Oh, 100% women.
Somebody is going to sushi.
You telling me I can get surf and turf on Friday?
Yeah, exactly.
And Italian on Saturday?
And both them brothers is spending all their money, all their hard-earned money on this show. But either way, what I'm saying is, either side of it, are you communicating?
Sign me up for the meal.
And then let them decide, like, if this is something I want to participate in, or if it's not. because some people might be really emotionally invested, and it's like, hey, I can invest myself this deeply in something that's this casual. Don't rob them of that decision. I would say that, like, to any man or any woman that's kind of having that thought or is in that situation, don't take that decision away from them. That's insensitive.
I love that. And speaking of decision and just kind of like investing, what made you invest in me? Because I was a single mom, and I think a lot of people, in myself included, when I was a single mom, I used to think like, nobody's gonna want me. Like I have a kid, nobody's gonna want to take on that responsibility, and you just did it with such grace. My gosh, you were, incredible.
Yeah, I am pretty great. No, I'm kidding. What made me want to invest in you?
Yeah.
One, I want to start off with something you said at the beginning of this. None of our relationship has been a fairy tale, right?
Yeah.
So we hear these stories about like, oh, I saw this person and I fell in love with them and it was love at first sight and we just knew it wasn't that.
No, we're friends.
It started off just as us being friends.
Yeah.
And it progressed into, hey, I think I like Morgan. Like, not like Morgan, but like Morgan. Like, she might be somebody I'm interested in. And I think the more we got to know each other, it was investment over time. It wasn't just like, it was a decision over time. It wasn't like I just made this huge pivot in my life overnight. It was like no, I've been friends with this person for months, about a year.
Yeah.
We've been seeing each other. We've been making mistakes, like all this stuff. Like every other day, every other week, every other month is the decision like, okay, am I going to continue to pursue this?
Yeah.
Going to continue to pursue this person? I think ultimately the decision for us to be married, I think was, hey, can I imagine my life without this person? When I think about the vision for my life, when I think about 50 years from now, when it's all said and done, I'm retired and I'm in a rocking chair, who am I sitting next to? Like, am I able to accomplish this? Oh, now you want to touch hands. Now you want to hold hands. Like, am I going to be able to accomplish everything that I'm supposed to accomplish on this earth? Like, everything that God has put inside me without this person.
Yeah.
If I can do it without this person, I'm good. If I can't, if I know in my heart and in my spirit and I have like a peace about it, or I have like even a conviction about it, like I can't do that. And that was kind of ultimately what pushed us there. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I would definitely say, I think that as a woman, as a single mom dating, it is very easy to count yourself out. And I appreciate you because you didn't allow me to.
Yeah.
You never made it about that. You were always about me, but you were always about her too. But not in a weird way. Like it was never, you never forced it.
Funny enough, Layla and I were friends before you and I were friends.
Correct. That is very
Layla
true.
and I were cool before. I was like, oh, you just Layla's mom.
Yeah, that's very true.
Layla were friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love my daughter with all my heart, man. Like, that's my first baby. It was never a disqualification. I know when it comes to single parenting, once again, from a male or female perspective, there are a lot of single dads out there being great dads that have great relationships with their kids, that are trying to figure it out on their own. Single parenting or being a single parent is never a disqualification. I think it's always, once again, being open and honest with the person that you're pursuing. Like, hey, is this something that you're before we even get into this, before we even get to know each other and we catch feelings or all that stuff, hey, is this something that you're cool with?
Yeah.
And then let them make that decision. Prayerfully, they have wisdom and they're able to make a decision whether it's for their good or otherwise.
Yeah. Now, last like deep question, I guess. You said prayerfully. Do you feel like sometimes people make it a bit too spiritual when it comes to the dating world? Like, do you feel like people have over spiritualized the, like, I prayed and I know I even started like, God literally told me that you were my husband.
Yeah.
But do you feel like sometimes it's a cop out and they're like, oh, I didn't discern that he was the one, so I'm not gonna date him again, or, whatever the case may be? What is the balance between reality and wisdom and being spirit-led?
Yeah, I don't think I don't I don't think people over spiritualize it at all. I think if anything, a lot of cases they under spiritualize it. Like
That's great.
they don't bring the Holy Spirit, or they don't bring any sort of
Wise counsel.
like wise counsel. You don't try to bring any of that language into it. I think on the other hand, they refuse to bring reality into it. They refuse to bring practicality. So it's like the spiritual part of it is fine. Like it's great. It actually doesn't need to move. It doesn't need to come down. It doesn't need to waver. You need way more practicality though. Like,
what does that look like?
It looks like, hey, as you're praying, are you going on dates? Or are you just sitting at the house waiting for the Lord to just bring the man to your house as the Amazon delivery man?
That's good, because like, where are you gonna find him?
Are you making yourself available?
Yes.
Are you making yourself available?
Are you looking good?
Are you looking interested?
Sisters.
Are you looking excellent?
Ladies.
Brothers, bro, get a haircut.
I mean,
put
just
some clothes
edge it up.
on.
Edge it up. Is that what they say?
Edge it up.
Edge it up.
I haven't edged up my hair in years.
Well, you can't. But you edge up that beard, though.
I try. I'm not about to look a mess. But like when I say when I say, are you making yourself available? It's a shut up. When I say, are you making yourself available? It's, are you making yourself available? Are you putting yourself out there? Not weirdly, not
or in a promiscuous way,
or in a promiscuous way, or anything like that. But like, are you showing interest?
Yeah.
Are you developing a interesting personality? Can you hold a conversation?
Yeah.
Or are you just really just at home in your prayer closet, like, Lord, I know that you just come you hubbing.
Oh my goodness.
In your prayer closet, and you
like
don't,
he gonna appear.
You're not going to any sort of gathering.
Yeah.
You're not in any sort of community. Like you're not in any sort of space where you can let the Holy Spirit actually bring to fruition the thing you've been praying for.
Yeah.
So going back to your point, I don't think people over spiritualize it. I think they drastically under practice though.
Yeah, the reality of it.
The reality, the practical parts of it, the tactical parts of it.
That's really good. Like, both male and female. I would absolutely agree.
Take a bath, clip them eyebrows.
Take a bath?
Yeah, paint them toes and get out the house.
You know what, ladies? I must say,
I'm sick of it.
Paint the toes. Why would just paint them? Paint your toes, because that's the first thing that the men be looking at the most crazy things. The back of that ankle.
Yeah, I do.
That heel, outside that mule.
I'm quick to take some more.
If that thing is ashy.
Because y'all love a mule. And
they love the mule. We love the mule.
Y'all love a mule.
An unpainted toe and an ashy heel gets you every time. It counts you out.
Get a little Aquaphor, put it on the back of that heel.
Yeah. And the men.
Yeah.
The men. It takes nothing. At this point, Zara sells such great cologne. Let's smell like something. You know what I'm saying? Let's leave a scent that's a little bit less than just I rolled out of bed or I kind of showered.
Brush your hair.
Learn
how to talk in complete sentences.
Yes.
That's really important, guys.
No more fragments.
Please learn how to, when you're texting, type in complete sentences.
Sometimes I don't.
We're grown. I know, it's okay. We're gonna work on. I'm still working on you. Don't worry.
Sometimes I don't. Well, this has been really good. I feel like we probably didn't answer all the questions, but we do have a little bit of something.
Is this my Valentine's Day gift?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nothing's coming out. But we are going to just do a little something where we get to answer more questions that came in. And yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, you guys, that is a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can continue on the journey of becoming with Morgan Tyler.